Today, it's time to help y'all black ladies get launched. Let's chat. What's up, Automator? Justin, founder of AutomationMaster.net, here to help you, coach, speaker, and trainer, get your automated systems in place to save time and generate more revenue. I got another episode of the Conversations with the Experts. And this week, I know some folks that get on here and they're real polite, like it's real nice and cordial. I know she's already looking like, no, God, like what he about to do. Anyway, I got a good friend, a good colleague, someone who I've seen in this space and just met in this space for quite a bit of time. She's a launch expert. Her name is Lachelle Barnett. Go ahead and tell folks, who you are, where you from, like what you do, like just a real quick, say hello to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, thank you, Justin, for the opportunity to chat. I love being able to have conversations with fellow entrepreneurs who are movers and shakers. So loving that opportunity. So for the listeners, those of you who are watching, my name is Lachelle Barnett. I am a launch strategist, as he said. So I essentially work with those of you who are coaches and are in the startup space, right? So if you're aspiring or if you're new and you're trying to figure out all the things, like how do I navigate this online space? How do I build my online coaching business? Then I'm your girl. We are the number one spot for you to be at.
Excellent. So look, and this is why this is gonna be fun, because one, I know that you don't play.
Yeah,
She doesn't play. She's very straightforward, and she's got like this. I don't know what to characterize your sense of humor. It's just like this very blunt sense of humor that I can't, like the same. I mean, and I try to stay clean, but I'm gonna let her. I don't know what little ears are listening, but it's kind of like a F you in a good way kind of attitude, and I love it though, and I love it, and I know I've seen her. She sometimes she has these shirts on and stuff that's kind of like,
yeah,
bam, like right in your face, and I love it. So, how did you end up? Because there's many ways that folks end up as in their space, right? And there's many different ways that we can help speakers and coaches. There's many different ways we can help small business owners. Many different ways we can help entrepreneurs. But why launching, right? Because there's many different ways to help folks. Why is launching an important thing to you, and how did you end up choosing that to be the thing?
Yeah, so two things. Part of it is personal story, right? And the other part is gift. And so this is really, I hope you all are taking notes, because this is the whole goal here is to drop some nuggets, right? So part of it is my personal story. So when I first started, I was not running this business. I was running a nonprofit, right? I'm a licensed therapist by trade, and I was also running a nonprofit. And we started having some challenges in this nonprofit. I go to God like I always do, and I say, hey, how do I fix this? What do you want me to do? And he tells me that season is over. And I'm like, that's not what I said. Like I'm looking for a solution. But we did our wrestling. I came, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be obedient. So in my search to figure out what was next, because there was no second plan after the nonprofit, I'm like, the only thing that I knew as I was transitioning was I wanted to build a profitable business, right? My nonprofit was hella impactful, right? We was doing all kind of amazing things, but we were definitely not profitable, right? So I said, this time around, I want to have a business that has both impact and income. I don't want one without the other. And so I went on this journey to figure out what that is. And in my journey, I spent a lot of time, I spent a lot of money, like thousands of dollars on things that I didn't need. Right. Sometimes it was coaches who were just a little bit too much, like they didn't fit the stage that I was in. Sometimes it was just bad coaches. I really haven't had a ton of bad experiences related to coaching. But overall, I spent a lot of time, money, and energy that I didn't need to spend in my startup journey. So part of why I work with people in the startup phase is just because I understand the struggle of being in the startup phase, right? You get distracted. You don't know where to start. You don't know how to put all the pieces together. So that's part of it. The other part is it's just my natural gift. My ability to map a plan and to see the holes, and my expertise is in, but once you spend that kind of time and money and energy on top of just being a quick learner, I developed all this. One coach said you have a great business acumen. And at the time, I was like, ooh, that's fancy. I don't even know what that means. But once I figured it out, it's essentially saying, man, you know what you're talking about, right?
Right.
So the two combined is really how I ended up in the launching space, because launching has a lot of steps when you're just getting started, and you need to be considering all of these things, not just, one or two. So that's my long answer.
Okay. Okay. That's perfect. What was the nonprofit anyway? Like what was that about?
Yeah,
What were you
so
doing?
my nonprofit was called Fathers First, right?
Hmm.
And it's because I have a strong passion for fathers, strong passion for men, probably in general. But I believe that men are supposed to be the head of the household. I believe that fathers are important. We as a society do not value them the way that we should. And so myself and two other people started a organization. I mean, it's probably been 7, 8 years ago at this point, but it was a fatherhood organization. Don't get me on my spiel, because I just go into a whole nother. Y'all didn't come here for that.
Well, it's fine. I wanted to ask because sometimes there's some deeper kind of point to get from someone's past outside of just
Mhm.
kind of the story at the surface. And it's just this idea that even then it was about serving the person, right?
Mhm.
Like it was about identifying folks who needed help on a personal level, because ultimately, again, you're trying to uplift those fathers so that they can do better for their families, which of course
Mhm.
does better for the overall community. It wasn't
Yes, sir.
uplift men; it was uplift fathers, meaning they have a
Mhm.
certain duty to nurture and bring forth and care for other folks. So I
Mhm.
know now that it's mainly women focused, but even in that space is, well, we're helping women because again, women, y'all have a unique role, and I know you're a mother,
Mhm.
and I love my mother and I love my wife and her role in our family, and what she does as a mother, things that I can't do.
Mhm.
um and it's about empowering those people,
Yeah.
whether mother or not, to give them a place of success. And I know women, y'all have just this uncanny, again, kids or not, whatever family community you're in, you have like this gift to just nurture, right?
Mhm.
Like just be able to cultivate and help others grow in ways that we don't even understand or even see, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um, that's I kind of wanted to highlight that. So it's like she's about service, y'all. Like it's just not just
Yeah, and
because.
I think that's important to highlight, because in my community, I talk a lot about profitability. And it's because all my clients are coming in talking about service. And that's
Mhm.
cool. I don't want to have a business where we're not impactful. That's a no-brainer,
Right.
right? But what we have a hard time doing is getting to the money. And so sometimes, because I talk about the money a lot, and I'm like, because I see people jumping and they're doing things like, I'm getting ready to launch this challenge. I'm getting ready. And I'm like, okay, well, what's the revenue goal? Well, I don't know. We'll just see what. No, baby girl, we ain't. We just, that's not. So I find that because I talk about money and I'm talking about profitability, sometimes people is like, well, I just want to serve. Serving is automatic. Like, we're not going to do the business without serving. If you're a coach, it's just not possible. Like, so I definitely like the fact that you highlighted, it really comes down to being transformational. It comes
Right.
down to figuring out who you are called to impact, for sure.
Right. Right. Now let's talk about some money real quick,
Let's do it.
because that's often what people want to get to,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't. There's some thoughts I feel like are missing. I'm sure you've experienced this on calls. You get on a call with somebody, just like you said, like they have zero idea
Mm-hmm.
like what they want to do, what they want to make. Even this day, I get sales calls. It's like, hey, yeah, what's your goal? It's like, yeah, I just want to. What's the word? I want to live comfortably.
Mm-hmm. I want to live my best life. That's the goal.
I want to live my best. I want to be financially free. It's like, well,
Yeah.
what does that look like?
Yeah.
Like, what does that look like? So for you, if you had to walk somebody through the process of trying to just figure out a couple of things, I think there's a couple key numbers, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
let you kind of touch on it. Um, if you had to walk someone through the process of trying to determine, like how to even start to envision numbers, think about numbers, or put some numbers down on paper, like
Mm-hmm.
what would that process be in a nutshell?
Yeah. So I think the first thing that I would say is that you have to learn to embrace the numbers, right? Before we can even start pinpointing, okay, here are the three things, here are the three numbers that you want to look at, you have to fix your mind. So I'm a social worker by trade, right? Before I ever got into this business, I was doing therapy, right? So for 10 plus years, guess what social workers don't do? Anything with numbers. Like I'm talking about zero, right?
Okay.
So most of the women that I serve don't come in with any kind of numeric, money kind of, but you will need to embrace it if you are to get the things that you desire, right? Most of the things that people come to me for, it's like, well, I want to create generational wealth. I want to leave a legacy. Well, all that requires money, baby girl. Like you gotta transition your mind to first embrace the numbers, because resisting the numbers will cause you not to get the desired outcome that you want. That's my first soapbox. Right. So then if we were going to look at, okay, well, what numbers do I need to be looking at? The first one is just the revenue goal. Like, don't pick an arbitrary number. I want to hit 5K. I want to hit 10K. I want to hit the $1 million mark. I want to hit 6 figures. Don't do that. That's not helpful to you. Why? Because you need to pick a number that's actually going to motivate you. Right. So a lot of times people come to me and they're like, I want to exit the 9-to-5 world. Okay, cool. Well, what's the number? I'm not sure. Okay, then you're not really serious about exiting the 9-to-5 world, right? Like,
right.
You want to put some real numbers. So typically it's like, I want to replace my income. Okay, well, let's start with that. The point is, though, pick a number that is real for you. So if 2K is the number because of whatever, like I got 2K in debt, and if I could just pay that off, I would feel like I'm in momentum. Okay, cool. If it's I want to come off the job and it's going to take me 6K, then 6K is the number. It doesn't matter what the number is. It just has to be real to you. I feel like that's the bare minimum.
Well, so then, it's not like I'm going to buy a Lamborghini today with your program. It's like an actual set of real number that relevant to your life.
I'm not sure what you thought was happening over here, but it's not. It's not. We don't. And anybody who tells you that, if you're in the startup space, now if you go wrong and you already making money, that's a different conversation. But I'm talking to the people who are early. They knew. Anybody who's telling you that, they lying. They definitely lying.
I just wanted to make sure folks understood. Like,
yeah, I think
this real.
One thing that's important. Yeah, don't come over here telling me. But here's what I would say.
She real. Yeah.
Most of the people that come to me don't come in with a strong money focus. I would say 70% of the people that come to me are not money minded enough. The other 30%, they got goals they trying to hit. But most people, because again, I deal with women and they're very heart centered. They're very mushy, and I happen to be more manly. I don't know what that's about, but I don't have that problem. I'm not stuck in my feelings, and I don't got that. But my clients, though, they tend to be more that way. So I would say I'm less worried about you coming in with unrealistic expectations. Sometimes I get that, but that's about 30% of people, from my experience, that come in with these unrealistic expectations. And the rest of them, I'm like, you're not pushing yourself hard enough. You comfortable. You're not even finna reach this goal because you still got the 9-to-5 that's paying for everything. So I would say just understanding what you're reaching towards. What's the first money milestone that you want to hit, or what's the next money milestone that you want to hit? And then understanding the breakdown of that. So the second number that I would say is important is what's the number of leads? And I know this is your lane, right? Like, what's the number of leads that you need to bring in order to hit that goal? Now, there's all these formulas. Like, you can't just say, okay, I'm selling a $997 offer and my goal is 5K, and so I need 5 sales. Okay, that's a simple equation, right? But you need like 10 times the number of leads in order to hit that. Yep. That's the part that people miss, right? Yep. It's like, okay, I got my revenue goal, right? I know how many sales I need to make. And then you try to get 5 leads when you need 50. You need 50 leads. And the better you get, the less you need 50. But if you knew, or if you don't understand marketing, or you're not great at conversion, well, then 5 ain't gonna get it. We got to be more realistic with the numbers of leads that we need to bring in on a consistent basis. Not today. Like, oh, I did this challenge and I brought in 37 leads. That's great. Let's talk about next month. Right. Because consistent revenue is connected to consistent leads.
Well, so I've talked about being a data gangster before. Like, it's a thing. Y'all need to show up with y'all calculators, y'all spreadsheets, be equipped. And I mean, that's real. I mean, at the end of the day, and I've said this before, and I'm sure you understand this, is launching, running, growing a business is as much art as it is science and math. Like, you can start a business with art. You can even grow a business a little bit with art.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're trying to scale and run a business over time, it's pure science and math. And at some point in time, a number is going to be involved. It just is. You don't have to be. You're not talking about running calculus and all that kind of math. Like, we're talking about add 2 plus 2,
Right.
throw some percentages in there. Anything you can do inside of Microsoft Excel or on your phone, that's the level of math we talking about. So, don't want to intimidate anybody, but
Right.
that's important. Now, when I think about launching, right? Because, and even in my philosophy, I feel like the start is the key, right? So, and many folks, again, go through different trainings and whatnot, but at the end of the day, it comes down to how well you do with planning everything out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you taking time to plan? When I say plan, I mean more than just, I'm gonna write in my book today, I'm gonna go and get an LLC, I'm gonna go pick a name, I'm gonna go get a logo. Like, I
I'm
mean,
talking about none of that. Don't do
right?
none of that.
No, I'm talking about like mapping your ish out
It's
type
actually,
of
yeah,
plan.
like I think that because the barrier to entry to entrepreneurship has gotten lower, especially in the coaching world, because you see everybody jumping into coaching every week, it's like, oh, well, I don't need to do none of that. No, you don't need to unless you want to get the desired result. Like,
Right.
people jump all the time, but they also spend years and years not making no money. I know it because they come to me. It's like, well, how long have you had your business? Well, 3 years. Well, what's the most money you've ever made? $500. I'm sorry, what? Oh, okay. Yeah, see, you can't just, I love Steve Harvey's idea of jump,
Right.
because it gets you out of your own way, right? Like, there's a season, there's a place for just jumping. But I tell people all the time, jumping and building the plane on the way down usually requires you to die at the end. Like, that's not a great way to build a business, right? That it don't make sense. So I definitely think that the foundation, and again, foundation is not colors and logos and websites. The number of people that come to me that says, well, I got my logo and I'm building my website, and I'm like, well, what's going to go on the website? Well, I'm not sure. Well, what are you offering? Like, what do you even do? The messaging has to precede the website.
Right.
Well, that's part of the foundation. So I definitely think that when you're launching, it starts with strategy, right? It doesn't start with colors and logos. I mean, even the brand people, the visual branding people are going to tell you, they're going to want to know about your brand before they even design. You know what I'm saying? Because all of that comes from strategy first.
Right.
So I definitely agree that sometimes people are putting things in the wrong order. And some of it is you just don't know, which I understand. But the thing that I would say is, be mindful of doing all the feel good stuff, right? The things that make you feel like you're making momentum versus the thing that actually cause you to make momentum. Because they're not the same, right? It's
Right.
great to put together a website and then I'm like, ooh, I'm ready. I'm cute. I done got a new shirt that's got my brand on it. That makes me feel good. My logo makes me feel, all that makes me feel good, but you still gonna be broke.
Right.
Your husband gonna be mad at you because you didn't invest in this program. The number of people that get no's from their husband about investing, and that's like, because you're not doing what you're supposed to. I wouldn't keep giving you the money either.
True.
So anyway, that's a whole nother tangent. But
No.
I definitely agree with you in terms of doing what's necessary first, which is more strategy and less feel good kind of stuff.
Right. So, if you had to give someone some tips on how to launch with some speed, now I'm not saying you need to jump off the cliff, but with some speed
Mm-hmm.
and with some profit, so we can get a little bit more than $500 in 3 years,
Listen.
right? If and by the way, y'all, like, I'm not mad at y'all for that. I get it. Small beginnings here. I've been through that hustle and bustle and the pain of all that. Luckily, I know better now,
Mm-hmm.
but I get it. So no judgment. It's just that now you have information, you have people that can help you do better. So
Yeah.
if you guys leave some tips for the folks, what would those tips be?
Yeah, so I definitely would piggyback on the no judgment. We all been there. Every entrepreneur on the planet started with making nothing. The key though is sometimes you stay there too long. Like why so long? We got to learn how to pivot quicker, but that's again another conversation, another time. Okay, so if I'm giving you tips for launching, right? That's what we're talking about.
Yes, ma'am.
So it always starts with clarity, right? So if I'm talking about launching the whole business, right? Because a lot of times when people are coming to me, they're trying to launch a whole business. And then there's the launching of the product or the service or the program that you're offering, right? The process is really very similar, right? But the first thing that I would say is the things that you need to learn can be done in a weekend, right? We're not talking about spending the next 6 months because I see a lot of people who are in the research phase, right? Whether it's their business or whether it's technology they need to use. They spend a lot of time trying to learn all the things. Well, the things you need to learn can be done in a couple of days, right? Because the thing about entrepreneurship, and this is the thing that has always been hard for me, right? Up until I would say it's still hard for me now. It's just less hard, right? Is understanding that you have to learn what you need to learn, right? You need to get clear about, well, who are you going to serve? What's the problem that you're even trying to solve? What's the outcome, the tangible outcome that you're helping people achieve? Right? Like, what's the process that you're taking people through in order to get them from A to Z? All those things are important and their clarity, and you need to get those, right? So it starts with clarity of your audience, right? It starts with what you're offering. It starts with making, and the thing that I would say is alignment, right? Sometimes who you want to serve and what you're offering don't go together, or who you want to serve or your price point don't go together. A lot of times you just pick the wrong market altogether, but that's again a whole nother conversation. So there's this combination of clarity, right? Learning what you need to learn, but then the next step is to build the audience, right? Before we even go straight into, well, I want to sell this, well, who you gonna sell it to? Like, where's the people at? Like, people get this misconception that because you're on social, where there's people everywhere, but they're not your people. Them people don't know you. They don't know what you haven't positioned yourself in the marketplace as the go-to person that they should be talking to about whatever it is, the thing that you do. And so first is clarity and getting clear about who and what and, the marketing strategy, all of that. And then it's go off and build the audience. Right. And you don't need to do that. It doesn't take, again, depending on your revenue goal, depending on your price point, there's a lot of, nuances in here. But let's just say I had a 5K goal, right? And my price is $9.97. I need to make 5 sales. We already talked about I need 10 times the number of leads. That means I need 50 leads. Well, you could generate 50 leads in a weekend if you what you were doing. Right. So this is not it has to take 6 months for me to build a following. We're not talking about building a following. We're talking about building an audience. Right. Like, building a following is something totally different. People have followings and not making no money. Right. We're talking about building an audience of people who want what you have, which is a different process than just building a following. Right. So we could lay out all these steps, but just know that all that can happen in 90 days. From learning everything that you need to learn, to building the audience, to launching your first offer, right? Depending on how ambitious or how much time, how much money, all the things that you're investing, it could happen in 30 days, depending on your goals, right? I don't want to paint an unrealistic picture, right. But it's very specific to you. Like, if you only trying to make your first $1,000, well, that shouldn't take you 9 months. But if you got a 5-figure launch plan, well, that's going to take you a little longer, depending on what kind of assets that you're coming with. But I think clarity on the front end, audience, right, on the second end, and then the selling of the program or the product.
Excellent. All right.
Sometimes people get those steps, out of order, and it's like, well, I'm gonna launch first. Well, you ain't got no clarity and you ain't got no audience. Nope. I see I saw a lady on Facebook who just said that she helps people with launches. She does a lot of project management of launches, and so she drops all of her testimonials, like, every day. Oh, this person made 5K, this person made 10K, this person whatever. And the one thing that I love about her is that she says, don't come to me talking about you want me to help you launch because you see all of these numbers, but you're new. She was like, I don't work with new people. These people have established audiences. They're already, like, you don't go into a 5-figure launch with no audience. Right. And so sometimes I think that people are afraid of marketing. They don't understand marketing. They shy away from marketing. Well, marketing is the most pivotal, outside of clarity and strategy. It's really the most pivotal part of your whole I don't care what your goal is, whether you're doing all digital products, whether you're a high ticket person, it don't matter what marketing, you gonna have to get over it. I ain't got nothing else for you. Like it's required for your
It's got to be
success.
done. I feel you.
Yeah, and I know and I understand that we don't come in with that mentality, right? We came in trying to coach. We came in trying to serve. We came in, trying to impact people's lives. But the thing that I have to tell my clients all the time is that you are not just a coach, you are also a CEO. Right now, you not be the fancy CEO but you got to have both mindsets.
Right.
Because otherwise, you
Right.
don't think
Right.
profit, you don't think market, you don't think like I didn't come in trying to be a marketer. But if I don't embrace that, guess what? I'm at a 9 to 5 job instead of running my business full time. There's no freedom, there's no wealth. So you have to embrace the things that come, even though you didn't plan on becoming a marketer.
Excellent. So you got to embrace numbers. You got to embrace marketing. Got to embrace planning. I love it. It's good stuff. So because with all of this, right? So I know you help. So I'm assuming you help folks go and do a lot of these steps, correct? Like, is
Yeah,
that
so
what
we
you do?
have both sides. We have the coaching side where we're just helping people get clear and build out frameworks and understand the process. So that's all coaching. And then we have a consulting side where we actually do it for you. Because a
Okay.
lot of people, as you probably already know, get lost in the tech.
Mm-hmm.
They spend years trying to do something that we can do in 2 days. So we have both sides to our brand.
Excellent. So in a second, and Lachelle, I'm gonna hit you with a lightning round in a moment. So make sure y'all watch the lightning round in a second. But real quick, because I just want to hit this home in terms of how like important this stuff is. So I always tell folks, it's like whether you decide you want to check out an expert and work with one, or you just want to check out free content, whatever you do, just make sure that you get the point, right?
Mm-hmm.
The point is you're costing yourself time, energy, and money if you are not starting the right way with the right resources. Now, when I say resources can mean a number of things. It can be having the right coach in place. It could be having the right amount of money in place to put into whatever you want to do. It could be being in the right program. It could be writing and watching the right content. Whatever your resources are, you must have some type of resource to start out properly. When she says it takes 3 years to make $500, I wish that was an exaggeration, but you'd be surprised when I speak to people and it's like, hey, Justin, I've been doing this thing. I've been wanting to do this thing for years. It's like, how many years? So, yeah, I've been thinking about this like the last 5. It's like, so why haven't you? Like, there's always something. It's always distract. It's like there's a bunch of excuses.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the last thing I need y'all to do. Just get resources and leave the excuses like behind, right? So if they needed to check you out, Lachelle, like where do you need to go to find out more about you and how you help them?
Yeah, absolutely. So our predominant platform is Facebook, right? That's the one we're on the most. We have not branched out into other platforms as well as we will at some point. I think one of the misnomers is that you got to be everywhere doing everything. We make good money and we don't do that. Okay.
Excellent.
So Facebook for us, the easiest way to find us is to go to blackfemalecoaches.com. It will show you the process to joining our group. All of our content that we push business-wise is inside of our group. It's a great place to kind of get to know me, learn a ton of stuff for free. And when you're ready, of course, we got services, programs, stuff that you can, take advantage of.
Okay, perfect. So y'all will see that probably on the screen somewhere if y'all are watching the video. If you're watching the podcast, if you're listening to the podcast, you'll be able to find that stuff in the description. So make sure y'all check that stuff out. Look, I've known her for some years now. She's legit. She means what she says. She does what she says. And maybe for another podcast, we can probably share some stories of some stories. I mean, we can have some good conversations, I think. But again, I think that'll be best for another day. So for now, make sure
late night podcast.
that'll be a late night podcast type deal. So yeah, just check her stuff out. So Lachelle, real quick, lightning round. So don't overthink, right? So just give me what you got. Okay. Favorite tool you use in your business?
Entreport.
Ooh, okay. Okay, entrepreneur person. All right.
Oh, I'm all. Don't even. Let's not even. You ain't
I
gonna talk me
know.
out my entrepreneur.
I know. I'm not gonna talk at entrepreneur. It's not bad. I had a client that had entrepreneur, so it works.
Okay.
Quick. If you had to give one nugget, like one real quick nugget that you don't mention often, what would it be?
That I don't. I would say become. Right. Sometimes we miss the personal development side of business.
Mm-hmm.
But this entrepreneurship journey requires that you become who you're called to become, not just learn the things that you like. In a split second, I would just say it's not just about the strategy, right? You need that. But as you learn the strategy, it's going to stretch you. That's part of the reason why you're still doing the same thing for 2-3 years, right? Because you won't become who you're supposed to become, which means being uncomfortable, taking risk, right? So all of that is necessary for success.
Right. Excellent. Coffee or tea?
All tea. I don't drink coffee, baby. Wound up already. You feel me? No, just like
Nice. Favorite airline when you did travel?
You know what? I really don't have a favorite.
No.
I like deals. That's my favorite is
Okay.
deals. You got a deal.
Is there one that you won't fly?
No, because I like deals.
Yes.
Even Spirit with their raggedy self. I just you just got to know going in. You ain't getting nothing to drink. Don't ask for nothing. Don't get up. It's like being on punishment. But sometimes it can get me right where I need to be. And I'm talking about the cheapest flight. So if it works for I feel like the time matters, right? If you're gonna get me, I want to get there, and it's gonna be direct, and I bring my own snacks. Don't worry about it.
All right. You like sitting in those elementary school chair seats? You know what those up? They curve.
Sometimes you got to high spirit. Sometimes you got to do it. I ain't gonna let you talk bad about them. I ain't gonna let you do it.
All right. Last one. Mm-hmm. Would you rather be fully 100% prepared and speak to 10 people, or be caught 100% off guard and have to speak to a crowd of 1 million people?
Off guard, 100 million people for sure.
Excellent. That's it. Yeah, I'm curious what people are gonna say there, because I feel like I feel like you legit would do the 1 million. I know some folks are gonna say, yeah, I'll do 1 million, but I know them, and legit you would not be able to handle 1 million people off.
Yeah, nah.
You would walk out there and just be.
Yeah, I'm gonna be scared. Don't get it twisted. No, but I'm not missing no opportunity. That's that CEO mindset. You want me to what? Whatever I gotta do to get I'm in. Don't worry about it. If I gotta pee here,
right? Like just step.
Yeah, if I gotta throw up afterwards, I do whatever I gotta do afterwards. But we gonna go. Yeah, for sure.
All right, Lachelle, I appreciate you. So make sure y'all. So what is the link again?
blackfemalecoaches.com. Join us.
Oh, Alexa don't know that.
Tell Alexa to hush now. Mine gonna start talking in a minute.
You just come. Okay. So apparently I got a co-host this time.
That's all right.
We have to work that in. I'm gonna find a way to automate my co-host one of these days. We'll figure that out. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all watching this. Make sure y'all share this with a friend, fan member, or even a foe, because those fools need this information too. I appreciate you and all that you do. I'll see you here. We're putting out plenty of content, so make sure you check it out. And as usual, treat each day as a building block to a better future. Peace.
Peace.